For a moment of silence, and I'll lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We welcome each of you tonight, and as always, if you have your cell phone, we're asking you to put that on silence mode or turn that off. And I would recognize we do have a couple of special guests with us. State Representative David Alexander, we're glad here, and County Commissioners Dave M. Buskirk and Angie Fuller. We're glad that y'all are with us also. We have all members present with the exception of Mr. Tucker. That was going to move us to item C, which is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve, a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item D is approval of the consent agenda. That's our July minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve, a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. That brings us to the director's report.
Good evening. The first item on the director's report is the August personnel report, which is 3 pages long. It's a little bit lengthy, but we've had some, obviously this time of year, the last month or so, we've had resignations and reassignments and those sorts of things. We right now, as of this very moment, have all of our positions filled. So I really appreciate Ms. Foster and her team and all the work that they've done on that. And I'll answer any questions you have about any positions. Take a look at that.
Since we're on personnel, how are we doing at the start of school, personnel-wise?
Personnel-wise,
Are we okay as far as?
we had 21 new teachers. Is that correct? I think it's about 21. That was our new teacher orientation that we did. Only, 4 or 5 of those were new to the teaching profession. So there's a lot of our teachers that are coming to us with experience from other counties, surrounding counties. So that was very exciting to see and bring a lot of experience with them. So we feel like we got kind of the cream of the crop in some of those hirings.
What about numbers? Are we close anywhere?
We do have a report on that. I've got today's attendance. It's the next couple of items, and I'll go over that with you and share any concerns we have there on numbers. But I think we're doing well right now. We do have a report on that. All right, the next piece are the financial reports. Ms. Latham is here if you have any questions, but it's pretty standard at this point. Nothing significant. Basically closed out last year's June financials and shows the July expenditures. Cindy, do you have anything to add or any comments or concerns?
No, not really. If anyone has any questions, I'd be glad.
What's the problem there?
Just checking with the live stream to make sure it's coming through.
We need to get that taken care of.
It is.
Cindy, anything?
No, we got big on fund balance, $127,000. So,
That's a total of 427.
Okay. All right. The next item is the minutes from the building committee meeting that was held last week. I just shared those with you so you kind of know what is happening with that committee. And Cleo Walker is the representative from the board on the committee, so she can share with you as well if there's anything specifically about the meeting. But There's some significant dates coming up that we want to get the word out, and we'd love for you all to be there for these events. August the 29th, we'll be at Franklin County High School for our first town hall or community input session. That will begin at 6 o'clock. That has been confirmed, so we will have that set. September the 22nd will be at South Middle School at 6, and then October the 13th will be at North Middle at 6 o'clock. So please feel free to join us for any or all of those. if
Those
you'd
last
like.
2 dates again, Dr. Lewis?
That's on the bottom.
It is on the bottom, and
On the
it's
bottom of your agenda. They're listed.
September the 22nd at South, and then October 13th at North.
All
So
those
it
6
will-
o'clock, same time?
Correct, they're all at 6 o'clock. And we'll be sure to send out that information as well. We discussed how to do a survey possibly, and I think a couple of those committee members are working on that, getting that set up so we can get some community, parent, student input, teacher input, all of that through a survey versus necessarily collecting it all at the town hall meeting. Anything else on that?
So, without going through that, what's the, after we do the October meeting, November?
Well, what we decided, because I know initially we had hoped to have the results back to the board in October, but that pushes the timeline really close. So I think what we're planning to do is the November work session will be focused on the results from these meetings, and then we'll share that with the board and have those kind of discussions.
Will you have the results from the survey monkey?
We will. It generates very quickly. We're going to keep it simple so that the results will come back. The main, if you have open-ended questions or comments, that's what takes the most time to kind of sort through. But I think we'll be able to have that by that early November date without any trouble. All right, and then the next item is the daily attendance report that Ms. Walker was asking about. And if you take a look at that, our numbers are down currently from where we were last year, the total. Right now, we're showing 5,192 students present today. However, that number has grown over the last 2 days prior to this, the Wednesday and Friday that they were in school last week. So until we get the first week or two under our belts, it's going to be hard to say that this is the definitive number. We are close on numbers at Huntland in the K through 3. There's a possibility we may have to add a teacher there. And also at North Lake, there's a kind of a close in kindergarten. So there may be 1 or 2 positions that we have to add once the numbers become solid.
And what about Rock Creek?
No, we're okay at Rock Creek right now. Rock Creek was identified as a title school this year, so we were able to do some class size reduction through that money, so they're okay.
What was our total figure we ended last year with? Yeah, do we have those?
Total numbers of students at the end of the year, I want to think it was about 5,400.
5,400.
I was thinking we were running 50,
Right.
50, somewhere around
Yeah.
55. We never did reach 55.
I don't think so,
Somewhere between 54 and 55. We bounced
yeah.
between that, and that's where I think we'll end up this time.
So we'll continue to climb, most likely.
That's what we've done last year, the last couple of years.
Where do we, is there any in particular place we see the growth?
I didn't see any trend data last year, I don't know if there was previous years.
I mean, we're
As
going
far
to
as
gain.
where it's coming
Right,
from.
we're going to gain about 300 kids throughout the year. Is it
Right.
in, we don't just
It's
scatter
from all
them?
over. So we'll be watching these closely over this week and make a determination by the end of the week if we need to add any positions for those 2. A couple of things that are not on the agenda, but items that I wanted to mention to you. We're in the process, by fall break, we will move the Tech Operations Center out of Townsend. We're going to relocate that to an area at Franklin County High School. There's a space on the north end of the building, first floor, that CTE wing. There's an area there that will be accessible from the outside, and it's set up very well, small office spaces and a work area for them to be able to be housed there. So that transition will take place over the next couple of months. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. We did get the alternative school relocated, and they are up and running. There is a concern in transportation, I just want to make you aware of this. because you may hear something on this, along these lines. This year, we made the determination we are not servicing private lanes, only public roads. And that's because the private lanes are not held to a standard for width and accessibility. There's no shoulder, those sorts of things. So it's just very unsafe for our buses to go on these private lanes that are not maintained to that standard. So if you have any concerns or any constituents that call you and talk with you, please let us know. We'll be glad to answer any of those questions for them. But it is just, it's for the benefit or the safety really of the students that we're doing that.
Have we sent notice to all those folks that that's
We have
involved?
notified them, yes. So, in that policy, we changed that over the summer, just to try to make the routes a little bit safer for the drivers and the students. And then one last item that I have, I just want to say a personal thank you to Kevin. I know this is your last meeting, but you were the first person I met from Franklin County, and I really enjoyed working with you this year, so you will be missed.
I appreciate that.
And that's all I have.
I won't be going far.
You just won't be gabbling in.
I just get to sit on the other side and send y'all emails, telling you what the problems are.
That's right.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Dr. Lomas? Okay, that'll move us to item F, new business. Item 1 is the 6.3071 student alcohol and drug testing. I know we brought this back from last month because of some verbiage.
It's actually on the last page.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's
With one word, we've added one word that's in red there.
rather than extra for you.
Okay.
And that's just for consistency's sake in the other policy that we have for drug testing of athletes. TSBA did put out some guidance on this policy Friday, late Friday. We did take a look at that, and it's not, actually what we have in place is more comprehensive than what TSBA is recommending. So I would recommend that we stick with our policy rather than making the changes that TSBA had advised, so.
So I entertain a motion on
Motion
that
to
one word
approve.
change.
Second.
We got a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 2, policy 6.310, dress code.
Your last meeting, I had to go.
Had to get that in one more time. I thought we put that one to bed as well.
Yeah, we did too, but there was a question from some of the school administrators asking about the size of the logo on Spirit Wear. And I know your intent, or I thought your intent was probably not to limit that. So we've done some, kind of some correction to the language there on the first page. It's in red as well, just so that Spirit Wear is not held to that, and there's an understanding that you can wear the Spirit Wear anytime, that as long as it's associated with your assigned school.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 3, approval of outstanding school purchase order.
This is for Huntland and Franklin County High School, and it's just cleaning up the books for the end of the school year.
I guess I'm not being nitpicky, but I have a question.
Sure.
I know that, you know, according to policy, anything that's $10,000 or more has to be board approved. Am I correct in that? And there are some in here that would fall into that category. At what point is that approval supposed to be given? Front end versus?
After the expenditure has already been made. Cindy, do you want to? Oh, she didn't hear. I'm going to ask Cindy on that one. She had a question about the purchase orders.
I was just saying, according to policy, if it's $10,000 or more, you're supposed to have board approval. Correct?
That is correct.
All right. And at what point does that board approval need to come? Not after the fact, but rather prior to, correct?
It should be, yes.
That's just clear, yeah.
And also, if it's over $10,000, we're supposed to bid it out.
No, it's 25.
Now, 25 will get out, yeah. Yeah. It's 10.
And there is one purchase on there that is over
Well,
$10,000.
there's one on the other one as well, I've already said, nothing budgeted, I think there's another.
Oh, I see the 16, yes.
And some of these, I think, maybe where they're collecting money, like for cheerleading camps and stuff. So they're probably looking at the net, not at what the true cost is. I don't know that, but I could see that being a potential.
And I think the football purchase for Franklin County High School, if I'm not mistaken, was out of a restricted account that the money had been generated through the Booster Club. Is that, am I correct there? Dr. Alsop, do you know? You're not sure about that? I'm pretty sure that that money was generated through Booster Club.
Well, if it comes out of the restricted account, then we certainly don't have any.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Right.
But that's what.
I think that's where some of those, why they're not coming through.
Cindy, is
We're not
that
seeing it.
25,000 a written bid?
Yes, it has to be a written bid.
Is it a sealed written bid or just written bids?
No, it's sealed.
3 written bids?
Right. It's not quotes, it's a bid. It has to go out for bid if it's over 25,000, unless there is some different corporates that we can do, where schools have already went through the bidding process, and we can piggyback off of that if they've already been a bid process. And a lot of times we do piggyback off of, and it may be a state of Tennessee contract. If our company has a state of Tennessee contract, then it doesn't have to be bid because it's already been bid prior to anyone ordering from it.
If it's our sole source.
There's very few sole sources.
It's hard to prove sole source.
Exactly.
An example, when we purchased the bus in the spring, we piggybacked off of someone else's bid for that.
Another
So
school
we didn't
system.
have to rebid to do, yes,
Save a lot of time, but
But
yeah,
yeah.
able to do that.
so we got approval to be able to do that.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion to approve the outstanding purchase orders in a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 4, North Middle School Library petty cash request. Assuming this is our standard every
It is.
year,
Yes, it
this is your recommendation?
is. It is.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 5, 2016-17 Board of Education annual agenda.
The annual agenda, just to note, for those that maybe have not seen this before, I think you as the board have had a chance to take a look at it, but the board meetings are actually designated each month, and we are going to finish out our school visits this year. So there's several months that will be at a school location, and those are marked on this agenda, so you might want to get a copy of that for media and those sorts of things, to know where to be when.
Of course, the same thing on that annual agenda as well. Things come up on a monthly basis, but that just gives you the overall view of everything we're going to cover on a month-to-month basis, mainly sections and policies. So we need to adopt this.
Yes, sir.
Motion to adopt the annual agenda.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, that brings us to the Director of Schools evaluation. And we all went through your evaluation process and submitted those to Patty. And Patty, she didn't know it at the time, but she graciously took care of that. That was part of my responsibility as chair. And I appreciate you taking all those and consolidate them. And so we have one job performance and an evaluation from the board as a whole. And it's not my intent to go through every wording. If anybody wants to add comments to that, I mean, overall in every category, I'll just summarize that under job performance, you were 3.88 out of 4. Student achievement was 3.38 out of 4. And I'll asterisk that most of the comments and concerns there were, it's too early, there's no data out there to back up really where we are. In standard 3, which is relationship with staff and personnel, 3.75. And standard 4 was relationships with the community, 3.88. I think I would hope that you are pleased with your evaluation. I think from a board standpoint, that's an excellent evaluation, and I think the board recognizes that you've done a great job your first year here, and you had a pretty eventful first year as well. So you got thrown right into the fire and probably had to tackle some things that sometimes director of schools may not tackle in their career. You got to do all those your first year, so it's downhill sledding now. Any comments or anybody want to go over anything individual on her?
I would make a comment that, and I think it's important in the way I look at it. It's much like a gain survey, it's an evaluation, and I think sometimes there's a little bit of misunderstanding about that. To me, when I look at those, anything over a 3 is outstanding, because a 3 means that you're doing your job. And anything past that is outstanding and beyond. I mean, 5 would be perfect, in other words. Very rarely are people perfect. 4 is close to it, so 3 is solid. Anything over that, and I think you average more than 3, higher than 3 in every category, if I've read that right. So to have to have confronted some of the things that you had to your first year that nobody could foresee coming, and be able to end up, as it were, with that high of an evaluation, and I think it's to be commended. And also relationship building and working relationships with other government bodies of this county, like the funded body, the county commission, are critical, because if we're ever going to move forward and improve our school system, we have to have that positive relationship with them. And as long as I've been involved in education, I think the last year we've done more to try to improve that than having a long, long time. So I would like to thank you for that, and I would go out on a limb and say the rest of the board would like to thank you for that too. So keep on keeping on.
And I might add to that also, I appreciate the way that you have gone out and gotten in this community and people have got to know you. I think that's very important. I think they don't hesitate to talk to you. I think they're very approachable.
Well, and I think the general sentiment in the community is that we are transparent from a school system standpoint. We're not trying to hide anything. You go out and you try to get all the parties involved, all the stakeholders when you're making a decision. And quite frankly, anybody that makes a decision, anybody that's a decision maker is not going to be popular. Whether it's a school board or a director of schools or a supervisor, you're not going to make everybody happy. But I think with that said, I think you've certainly done a good job, and everything out here in the community are very positive.
And the respect you've gained in this community is huge. Your willingness to listen to the community and the folks and us as well, whether you agree with us or not, you're willing to listen, and I think that's a great asset. So I certainly want to thank you as a board member.
The thing I hear the most out in the public is approachable. You know, she's nice, open, you can talk to her, and I think that was something that we really needed. So I want you to keep on keeping on there too.
One of my big things was, when you came here, teaching morale was pretty much in the toilet. And I think that's done a 180 swing. Well, let's not mince words here.
Quit holding back on it.
I think that's definitely done a 180. That's a good job.
I guess the one thing I would like for us to do is adopt this evaluation. I think that's important for us that we did submit individuals, but I think it's important for us to go ahead and vote to adopt the overall evaluation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the evaluation and a second. Any other comments? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And that's going to wrap us up. I will say, I don't have anything prepared. This is my last meeting. Unless something, I told Ms. Hopkins, unless something unforeseen happens. I have enjoyed my time on the board. 8 years was long enough for me to do public service. But the board is intact with Linda Jones coming on. Everybody else will be the same. And again, this is a good board. I know that you won't always get everybody to agree with that. And it's like I said before, if you're a decision maker, you're not going to make people happy. And if that's your intent, that's the wrong intent. You know, you got to do what's best for the kids in the system. And as long as you keep that in mind, I think everything else will fall into place.
Well, Kevin, we want to thank you as fellow board people as well, because you've been there also through the thick and thin. You help make our job easier. Because when we come, we don't spend all the time that you do, and so we don't want to thank you.
Throughout the 2 years I've been on the board, I think you've done an excellent job this year.
Appreciate that. I'll watch them all now from the buzz. All right, we do have, at the bottom of our agenda here is all the meetings that Dr. Lomas pointed out earlier, with an addition to the September 6th is the district meeting, and I would take advantage of that because that's about 2 hours closer than it's ever been. Normally, we're somewhere way out in West Tennessee on that. But that's a whole list, the whole list of all the town hall meetings and the district meetings, and next month is
Swanee Elementary. Correct. And it is on a different day, September the 8th, which is a Thursday. So don't forget that. That's the week, because I'm going to be at the superintendent's conference the next week. We moved it up, so
You don't make that
don't
drive twice?
forget. I don't want to make the trip twice, so like I did last year. I keep running. But I appreciate y'all meeting that.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have motion to adjourn the second, all in favor, say aye.